There are many problems within the education system here in Albuquerque, but one of the biggest problems we face is how underpaid our teachers are. The public school system here currently employs 6,038 teachers, who all make an average of $44,900 a year. Their pay has been capped at $59,500, which means after they reach this mark, they will no longer have any raises. This is the amount of money they will make until they retire from teaching. In comparison to the rest of the nation, this is a fairly low amount. You can see that from this chart that the differences in pay often range from a couple $1,000s to tens of thousands. So, for example, the business teachers post-secondary here in New Mexico make $82,000 as opposed to the $119,000 annual mean wage. Now, this gets even worse when we look at how much our Albuquerque public school teachers are paid. As stated before, they can make a max of $59,500. So why is this so important? It's because our teachers are the cornerstone of our education. Without a quality teacher being compensated in a classroom, we no longer get a quality education. They aren't compensated for these hours that they're working. They work overtime but receive no overtime pay. And this can cause a discouragement from becoming a teacher. In colleges, many people are told you shouldn't teach, you'll never make any money, which can then cause our D- ranking in education, and as a result we have low graduation rates, because once people start using teaching as a fallback career, they're no longer excited, they're no longer passionate about what they're doing, they no longer care about their students, which in turn leads to the students not caring about school and causes all of our issues like our D- ranking and our low graduation rates. So what are we proposing? We can rearrange our current budget to pay our teachers more. Since we don't have the proper funding for education, we have to rearrange the budget to find the money. We can also pay based on experience. It's understandable that someone who has 30 years of teaching experience would make more than someone who has, say, 5 years. This is how every business works. This is how every institution works. And then we need to reevaluate how our teachers are paid considering the hours they're working. We need to consider overtime pay or upping their salary so that it will compensate for the amount of time they're working. So what can we rearrange from the budget? We can provide a 10% cut to superintendent pay and a 5% cut to sports. Now, I know that this seems like a lot, but it's just a jumping off point until we can find more funding. So our costs and benefits are what really matter here. Our average pay for a superintendent is $140,417. Now, this may seem a little high, and it's because our highest superintendent makes $256,000. So if we cut this by 10%, that's $14,000, which we then multiply by 6 because we have 6 superintendents employed here in the Albuquerque public school system. This gives us $84,000 to do what we want with. And then we also have $2.3 million set aside for sports, which seems a little excessive. We can learn to live without that much money for that. So a 5% cut to that would provide another $115,000, which gives us almost $200,000 as overage. Now that's almost 2 full annual salaries for 2 teachers. So with this, we can redistribute it. It's not a whole lot of money to redistribute, but it's a starting point. So the way that this is beneficial is that now we have more work incentive. Teachers are encouraged to show up because they're being properly compensated. This increased pay will allow more teachers to come in, and most importantly, it brings our salary up to a national average. It also decreases the pay gap between administrators and teachers, which is always a big issue when it comes to education. There are always complaints from teachers, there are always complaints from parents that the administration is making too much. By cutting their funding, we can get teachers and the citizens working together so that they can get paid more. So in summary, this 15% cut will allow us to start finding the money to pay our teachers a better salary. It allows us to work within the budget we have, and it allows us to find a starting point for this plan. So together, we can change how our school compensates its professionals, and most importantly, we can show our teachers that they matter.